question number one. We actually stepped away from the collective in terms of an open source concept of organizational structure of the band a long time ago. We've had a fixed lineup ever since I think Matthias and David joined us, which Matthias joined us in 2015, so for 7 years basically. And this was on purpose. We were really tired of constantly new people in and out of the band. It's just involving a lot more work and a lot more time to rehearse, when actually what we want to do is tour, play shows, and write albums. So this was mostly in the beginning, when we didn't really have much to offer as a band. I didn't really have had a bit of a hard time getting people permanently motivated, and putting so much effort into working for a band that really wasn't going anywhere at that point. So ever since, even before these guys joined, we've had a fixed lineup. So the term collective refers mostly to the other people that are not fixed members of the band, but that are still very important for us. So the people designing our album artworks, making our music videos, people like Martin Quamme that we've worked with for a long time on the artwork front, and Craig Murray, who has been doing all of our video clips since Phanerozoic 1 basically, even before that already. And a lot of guest musicians that we work with on records who we are usually not touring with, like Dalai, for example, who's playing cello for us live, or the brass players that recorded the Phanerozoic records. All these people are very important somehow for what we do creatively, but they're not fixed band members. And so this is mostly what this Ocean Collective these days is. It's a group of people that come together under the umbrella of this band and work together creatively and make cool shit. Answer to question number 3. Well, with a band history of over 20 years, of course, there are always things that you regret in terms of that you would do them differently if you had the chance to do them again. I think this is unavoidable. But there are no hard issues there where I think, oh my god, this was totally embarrassing what I did back then, or this artwork totally sucked balls, like, it's all little things. In the songwriting, a lot of times you realize that years after, when you go revisit a track and you try to rehearse it and play it live, and you realize this is such a good track, except that one moment, like, why is that transition like that, And we try to take the freedom to change that then when we revisit certain tracks. We've re-recorded, for example, Rayation, the opening track of Precambrian, a couple years ago with the current lineup, and we also intentionally changed certain little things that still keep the integrity of the original song, but that are more in line with where we are as a band right now. And I think this is totally legit, and makes it only more interesting for people following the band for a long time. So no big issues with any of the albums we've done. They're all testimonies of a certain point in time. So naturally, a record like Aeolian, which came out in 2006, is not where the band is right now. It can't be, it was 16 years ago. But I still enjoy playing some of these tracks live, not all of them, but a track like City in the Sea, for example, we just discussed to put back into the set list. It's a strong, heavy track that is super, super fun to play. So there are these examples, and then there are examples where you're like, okay, that's a track we probably should better not play, and I think that's completely normal. Question number 4. Indeed, we will return to Buenos Aires for a second show in a few days from now, just after Christmas actually, and we're super excited about that. I really loved our previous time in town. It was a great show, really cool venue, lovely people, and it was super intense. And we've been wanting to come back a lot earlier actually. I had a South American tour scheduled for May 2020, and then the pandemic happened, and we had to, unfortunately, all of that fell apart, and we had to look at another time. And now we managed to reschedule most of the dates, not all of them. There were a couple of shows that I would have really loved to do, like Montevideo, for example, and I was talking to a guy in Paraguay even about a show there. That didn't work out this time, but I'm very happy that we get to do Buenos Aires at least, and Chile, 4 shows in Chile. We're doing this on this tour as well. So we're super excited to be back, and my memories from the last show are just a great, intense pit of people that a lot of them really were diehard fans that knew the band, knew all the lyrics, and so yeah, we're very excited about getting back there. Question number 5. Why do not so many bands come down here? Honestly, I don't know. For me, it's one of the most exciting areas of the world to tour and to play and to travel. I've always been intrigued by Latin America, and I've traveled through Peru and Bolivia already 15, 16 years ago. I spent a lot of time in Costa Rica and Guatemala and Belize, in Central America too. So I just love it here. For bands, it's difficult sometimes because well, travel costs are very high. You fly everywhere from city to city, which is expensive. And at the same time, the economy in countries like Argentina isn't strong, so the fees are also much, much, much lower than what we get paid in other places. And that's just the reality and the nature of capitalism and modern days economics, unfortunately. But we still want to play these places that are hard to make work financially, and I believe for a lot of other bands, it's probably where the managements are just looking at the money. They will have a very hard time finding reasons to play Argentina because it's just very tough financially. But for us, this is not the main motivator. We want to have a good time. We want to play to our fans wherever they are, and we really loved our first experience in Argentina. So for us, of course, when we started looking at booking dates here, this was a priority to make it happen again and to come back. And yeah, this tour has been going very strong so far, better turnouts than the last time, and that hopefully will mean that we will be able to come back more often in the future to Latin America. From Bolivia, Chile, with my first Pisco Sour of the tour. Answer to your second to last question. Yes, I believe you're right. If you look at our records in a chronological way, you will see a certain logic and a certain sequentiality and certain topics that reappear on pretty much all of the last records. And that red thread is somehow linked to, as you say, the elements or topics of paleontology or Earth history. Originally, this started with Precambrian, which we released in 2007, simply because I was visualizing the music, and I always had these this prehistoric imagery in front of my inner eye. I was always seeing like epic prehistoric landscapes, volcanoes and streams of lava, and I just felt that this was very much visualizing the music that I was writing at this point. And then from there it went to places, and it turned into this big trilogy of concept albums dealing with Earth history, basically. Mostly in a metaphorical way, I have to say, because the lyrics are touching on very different topics and themes, from very personal experiences in my life to philosophical things. The Earth history thread is mostly something that we use in a metaphorical way for other things that we discuss. But it's something that appears in almost every song on every record. And now I would have almost given it away. Our upcoming record, which is finished and which we're going to release in May 2023, is going to once more continue where Fenrozoid 2 left off. So I'll leave that to your imagination what that means, but I promise this is going to be the last record in that vein. And after that, with the second upcoming record, which we have also already written but we haven't recorded it yet, it's going to be something completely new. And finally, what I'm currently listening to, I listen to very different music, a lot of electronic music these days. I got very much into the latest Amelie Powell record, which I've been listening to a lot on this tour. I listen to a lot of contemporary Berlin down-tempo electronic music, like anything coming from the Rebellion der Träumer collective, for example, Schmeck the Fuchs, Baba the Knife, things like that, and a lot of slow, atmospheric contemporary techno. That really is my thing. I also listen to heavy music, obviously. a lot of the things we released this year with Pelagic were luckily in my top 10 of the year. The new Psychonaut record is fucking incredible. The new Wangwen record that we just released, Chinese instrumental rock band that we just released, is also really stunning. And yeah, like I said, I listen to a lot of very different stuff, from fusion to lately things like acid Arab and things like that, to very heavy stuff. Yeah, I guess I should put together a proper playlist.